Hey, listen, hey, welcome. Yeah, that was a loophole. Welcome. You're all listening to That's 86'd podcast. I am your host, Bryant Fennell.
I'm Theo.
Right here. Look, oh man, you're ready. Oh man. Yo, our energies were totally different in the beginning. I tell you, it took about a good 2 hours for us to get to this point. Yeah, but a lot has happened within that 2 hour time frame. Yeah, you see? Yeah, I'm getting better with just the camera right there. I'm hitting all the angles.
Man, you're talking to everybody with me, man.
I'm talking to you, man. Come on, man. Like, that's why, like, man, I just spoke to you for 2 hours.
Nah.
All right, probably like an hour and a half.
That's cool, it's all right.
I'm sorry.
Come here.
Give me a hug. No, bring it in. Give me a hug.
Did we touch it?
I touch you a lot. That's a great hug. All right, but yeah, so you're here listening to That's 86 podcast. Once again, I am your host, Brian Fennell.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so man, I guess let's start off with like, yo, how was your week? You know how we do this, man. How you feeling? Got the gray sweats on today.
Yeah, man.
You're actually mad casual.
Chilling like a villain.
You're actually, yeah, man. This is, yeah.
Yeah, I've been with the kids all week and stuff, so I've been just basically in the crib, watching educational programming and doing projects around the house and going to parks and things like that every day.
It's been pretty cold out.
Well, it's only been pretty cold out for the last 3 days, which is why I have this on.
It's cold right now. It's like, what, 60 degrees, maybe 58?
Something like that. But it was like 4 days ago, it was still like 80 outside.
Yeah, it just flipped like that.
Yeah, that's all.
It did just flip just like that.
Yeah, besides that, that's all. Just watching these NBA playoffs. NFL just started back up again. Eagles not looking too great. Shit. I don't know. What's new with you, man?
So far, a lot. My weeks be crazy. I hung out with our friends, our high school friends.
Oh, no, you don't. I ain't got no friends.
Our friends from high school.
Oh.
I hung out. I did that recently. I also listened to TRN podcast.
Okay.
Pretty fucking fly. You guys definitely should check it out. I appreciate it a lot. It was a lot of realness in there. I listened to one of the latest episodes that was posted, and I heard a reference to That's 86 podcast, and I was just like, oh snap, you know? I also heard music in the background. So I was pretty impressed with that as well. I was like, look at that.
You like that?
Me personally, no, but but you know, I was just like, I see, you know.
Yeah.
I see that was pretty, you know, like I see that's cool, you know. I got you.
I don't like it either.
So it was pretty interesting. The just like what had me like for a loop was just like what they were speaking about, and it was like it was a take on something that, of course, I said on the podcast. And I was just like, whoa, like, for me, that was monumental.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because it was just like, just imagine, like, Stephen A. Smith, you know, sitting there highlighting something that you said in Stephen A.'s voice. Well, of course, it would be his voice, but
basically hearing
his hot take.
Shit coming out of somebody else's mouth.
It was just like, whoa, that's how that was taken in. Oh,
is that what you thought I said?
Snap. Yeah. So you know, for me,
so I basically misquoted the fuck out of you.
So I mean, no, it's all the way fine. It's all the way cool. It was just
what
like.
What are we talking about?
Huh?
I jog my memory now, man. What were we talking about? Since I misquoted you.
TRN podcast.
No, I mean, what were we talking about?
Oh, so it was.
What's the subject of the conversation?
So it was a conversation that was talking about like exploitation of being the first. Me sitting there saying how I felt about people using or publications using the first black.
Yes.
The first black person.
I probably did misrepresent you on that one, but I had my own point to make, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, I was rolling. I'm sitting there just like, oh snap, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty cool, you know?
Yeah. Because I felt like you did say No, that first black shit, we don't need that.
Yeah. I still behind that. Yeah.
I felt like that's what you actually said.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck that. Nobody's sitting there saying, yeah, man, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but they even hear the
African pharaoh.
Like, come on, what the fuck, you know? But like, even to still hear the other person's take on it, that was more interesting to me.
Oh yeah, he's always going to surprise you.
Cause it was just like, wait, no, like it's no shucking and jiving. Like, no, that's not all right. No, it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, cause then the integrity is lost, you know, within the brand. Well, you know, the conversation, if you guys don't know, make sure you check out Black Market when that does release, or Black Marketing when that does release. But you can get a hot take from it on TRN Podcast, because that's available. So you kind of, it's kind of a trailer.
What episode was it?
That was like, so that's not coming out. Well, it will be available to you guys, so you guys can definitely check it out. But for us, that's probably like another month.
No, okay. Well,
maybe 2 weeks to a month.
What episode of TRN Podcast is it?
I don't know. That's the most latest one, so I guess you guys are like, yeah, it's either 32, 23. It's something. It's
numbers.
It's numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty interesting.
Find it though. You'll find it. That's real short. You can get through it.
Yeah, it's right. It's the latest one. Yeah. And just to let you know, we could be talking about you right here, and this point.
Only if we really want to.
Yeah.
Because if you want some fuck shit, then fuck you.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, outside of that,
register to vote.
I actually been registered to vote.
Okay, who you voting for?
Who am I voting for? I mean, to me, it's easy. I'm automatically going to say it's some bullshit. I did make a post recently. This is some bullshit, but I'm going to, you know, Joe Biden.
Okay.
Yeah. That's easily just to say it just blank, just like that. It's some bullshit, but that's who I'm voting for. I am going to do the mail-in ballot. I'm not sure if I did it already. I don't think so.
Well, do they have a female in option?
Yeah, Kamala Harris. Oh, wait. That's not what you... All right, cool. It's fine.
I was making a joke.
Oh, I was like, yeah.
Mail-in. Saying do that.
Oh, I see what you did there. Ah, I see. Don't double entendre. Don't even ask me how. Oh. All right, so we're having, it's crazy because I tell you, our energy was not like this when we first walked in here. Oh, man. All right, so, I mean, that wasn't the week per se, because there was a lot of stuff that happened throughout the week, you know? Mm-hmm. There was a lot of stuff that happened, but I guess that's the most freshness that just happened on the tail end of this week. But yeah, outside of that, I'm great. I'm cool, you know? I sat there and I had I hung out with my sister, and man, it was humbling, you know? Like, cause I haven't seen her since her birthday, which was like a month ago. And she was like, I haven't seen you in forever. So I was like, oh, I'm on my way over there, you know? Hung out with her, had a conversation, and you guys like have the same or similar philosophy on everything. Not on everything. I shouldn't say on everything. But what I mean to say is just like where she's at in life is more so just like everything that you say on here, which is like you care, like it's just like when you say you care about your regulars that come, when you care like how deep you think about like how much good energy you put into their lives, and you focus on that and you run with it, you know, to keep on building, you know, like, 'cause it's people, man, and she deals with people who need care, and she's providing that, you know. And I was like, wow, like like she used the same exact words that you used throughout this podcast, and it was just like triggers them for me because I'm just like, wow, you know, like I'm like, my circle is the tightest circle, and it's nothing but like great people within my circle. And it's so crazy that the way that you guys think, like I told her, I was like, yo, ignorantly, I speak ignorantly on the podcast. It was like, oh no, forget that. And then Theo would come through and he would sit there and just say, yo, man, like I care about the reps, I care about the owners, I care about, you know, the patrons, I care about the establishment and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, wow, just off the rip, you know? So we had that conversation, and then I was just like, yo, man, I'm surrounded by people like this. So no matter like, so it's being instilled or ingrained in me to be that way, to the point where it's just like I don't even think, like I don't think that I would have to sit there and say anything like that, you know? So it's just like, oh, that's the obvious part, you know? So I don't say how much I care about things, because it's like, well, no, you're supposed to care about it. Like if you're doing it, you care about it, you know? Like
you work in this industry long enough and you know that the mass majority of people just don't, like. So you do realize, damn, if I don't put an emphasis on these things, then they might just go unnoticed.
Yo. Okay, but then that's where I live in my own little box, because it's like, I don't care what they do. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what other people are doing, you know?
Like, in most of the positions I get in, I end up having to train people. I end up always like with 3 or 4 people who need to figure out what to do, and they gonna stand there and wait for a nigga to tell them. I'm good for now. Thank you. So, yeah, like when it becomes your responsibility to oversee how somebody might be doing their job, then it's like, all right, yeah, now I actually have to, I'm going to try to ingrain in you a philosophy rather than just tell you what to do. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to lead you to the water, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's been people I work with where it's been like their first actual industry position, and they don't know how this works, they don't know how that works, and motherfuckers just put them in there, and they didn't, like none of the managers told them how their schedule was going to get done, none of them told them how they was going to get paid, how soon it was going to take, and they sit there and they're like, they don't even know to ask. They're just like, yeah, man, I just, you know, da 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 da. I'm like, so they ain't tell you none of that shit, huh? All right, cool. So you real new, you new. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, you just go pick that up and put them right there for now. And now I got to spend the next 15 minutes deciding where I'm gonna put you next. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or I want to take the approach of, all right, just follow me and watch me for a day. You know what I mean? Then you gonna come in tomorrow and I'm gonna watch you do everything you told me to do today. Like it's like once that becomes your responsibility, then you actually have to really like take notice of like, all right, damn, this nigga don't give a fuck.
Yo. All right, so.
And the bosses that didn't tell them to do shit or tell them how to do shit, they don't give a fuck either.
So like when I'm training people, like I'm such a hippie or an artist that it's just like, no. Like I want, like you're a butterfly. I want to see how you create, you know, I want to see how you do it, because I don't want to sit there, I don't want to tell you how to do, you know, like there's some structure to how you should be doing things. Yeah. But yeah, I'll show you that structure on how they want it done here. But no, you perform, you create, you know, you be you. And then, you know, I'll sit there and just be like, wait, all right, so this is right here. This is what you call a jigger, you know? And it's like, you know, just the technical, but like as far as artistry goes, no, go ahead. I'm not going to sit there and tell you how to be, you know? Because any place that I've worked at, for the most part, there's no script.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's just
but
like...
you know the script because of where you've been before.
I know that there is a script.
You can apply your own shit. You can apply your own... You could be like, all right, so I could give you everything that I was giving them over there except this part.
Yeah.
Like, you can really do that because you have the experience. There's been times where I've started at jobs where I started the same day with people, but they just see me. They see my actions. They're like, this motherfucker clearly knows what he's doing, so I'm going to ask him. And then from that moment on, the whole time we worked there, they're looking at it like, they're following behind me. We started the same day, though. Yeah. It's because I've fucking worked in 15 different other places, and I've seen the system implemented it better than how you guys are implementing it here. Yeah. So I can fall into it, and I can improve it. Yeah. And that's why it's just like that's why it's more interesting to me, where it's like, you know, I want to see how you, because I can learn from you, you know? Yeah. I don't want there to, it's not that I don't want there to be another me.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't want there to be another me. I want you to be you. Like, cause, oh man, it's so much to learn from you. That's how I view it, you know? Like,
I got you.
I don't want to hear two Erykah Badu's. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't come here to see two Erykah Badu's. I came here to see the Erykah Badu, you know?
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Nobody's gonna do you. Nobody's gonna be you. Like, I used to struggle with that, like when making music. I'd be like, damn, I want to sound different than I sounded on the last track. And it's like, well, it's because it's a new song. And then it's like, all right, damn, I be sounding too different. I be sounding like a whole other nigga. And it's like, well, no, it's always you though. No matter what you do, you always be you. So at the end of the day, you can tell somebody everything that you do and show them every method and technique that you have, but they're going to put their own spin on it and they're going to do it the way that they do it. They might look at it and be like, nah, I got something better, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of
people don't have that confidence, or they won't do it around you, you know, like,
Yeah.
cause I
But you know, you trying to give them the opportunity to flourish.
yeah.
I respect that, like I said. But me personally, I like to give them the opportunity to see some things that they might not see, or pay attention to some things, and it's up to them to pay attention, or peep it or not, or it's up to them to pick it up or not. But yeah.
So, all right, because I mean, this conversation in itself could just go into a whole art form, whatever.
Wax on, wax off. I'm more
Wax
that
on,
kinda
wax,
guy.
wax on, wax off.
But you more like Jiraiya.
Oh yeah,
Run in the woods. I'ma chill.
yeah. For you
wanna have
guys,
fun?
who
Oh,
don't know
you got hurt?
Jiraiya, this is an anime reference. Yeah.
Oh, fuck him. That'll be alright.
I mean,
You
like,
can Google that shit.
I mean, I don't know if they know how to spell Jiraiya, so
Araiya. Google it if you need to.
you know. So I mean, you have
And I
it.
might be wrong too. And it might still pop up.
Yeah. Just put Jiraiya, how he spelled it, anime or manga. It'll pop up.
Yeah.
No matter. But yeah, I don't know, like, cause there's a huge, I guess you would say, disconnect. That's a whole nother thing. All right, so,
Disconnecting?
oh man, I've been disconnected.
Let me get some of that fucking bubbly while you disconnect.
Well, I'm connected now. So we have bubbles right now for you guys that can't see. This is pretty interesting to me because it's a sparkling Malbec from Argentina. And it's like, why not try it? That had a lot of CO2. Oh, yeah. It's pink. It's salmon.
Told you it was gonna be orange.
All right, so
Rosie.
not the Perez. All right, but yeah, so I don't know, kind of something that was
Gotta get your money, honey.
most recent on my mind is, all right, so I have this whole I went on this whole
I
tangent.
just breathed the CO2.
Yeah, it's a whole thing that I just learned about that too. Like, I got this whole long paragraph of things, you know. So I'll just read it to you guys,
Let me read it.
or Theo's gonna read it to you guys.
So I'm enjoying everything. My job is really easy. I overuse commas. I find myself wanting to learn more about the new items being carried and tasting them so I can make recommendations to people that come in and want guidance. It's good to be able to speak with authority. It really feels good. It's weird because I didn't enjoy making recommendations when it was my job because I took things personal. It's like you're saying my song/art is trash. That shit hurts, lol. But now I'm inspired to learn more and have a deeper connection. I guess because it's less stressful and I'm getting paid regardless. But it's more so just for myself, and I don't have to do it to perform a job. Maybe it's because I can manufacture myself and appreciate the process so I can relate. But either way, it's different. Being in a healthy space in life and doing this than stressing about everything and trying to still be as passionate about booze. I even rejoined the USBG in hopes of them offering resources. Is there enough information easily available for professionals to access? It seems like it's just stories passed down by sales reps or brand ambassadors, which if in small markets are non-existent. tech sheets are easy to find either. Aren't easy.
Aren't, yeah.
So
yeah, that was just on the whim kind of free-floating thought that I just was trying to capture so I can have the essence of the topic that I wanted to discuss, because it's just like, it's not easy to find, like, it's not easy to find information on libations, period. Like, even if you go to a bar to order a drink, everyone does it differently. You know, the same drink, it's different recipes and all of this kind of jazz, you know? But even going even further, it's just like, okay, well, how exactly did they make this bubble, you know? Well, the rosé, the sparkling rosé, you know? It's like, it's hard to find that. It's so challenging because words get lost in translation from different languages, because then it goes to marketing, you know, and they don't know anything about how this was made, you know? It's just so many things, and it's like people don't know to sit there that tech sheets, like I didn't know about tech sheets per se, or that I had access to them until the whole assistant beverage director / assistant winemaking position that I was in. And it was like, oh snap, I had to go through the whole menu, the wine, the bottle list, and pull up tech sheets so I could sit there and be able to articulate all of these wines, these bottles, how they were made and all that. Tech sheet is a technical sheet. It's what it stands for.
like technical specification.
Yes. Also known as fact sheet. So if you can't find tech sheet, type in fact sheet, you know, for facts, you know, factual information. A lot of places still don't, a lot of places still don't offer that, which is interesting, you know. So I mean, you know, it's hard, you know. So it's like, well, how far, like how much do you have to put into your own real estate yourself in order to go out your way to be better at what it is that you're passionate about or that you do professionally, you know? Because this is like, all right, well, we have this new, now whoever orders the booze for the establishment, they're not getting the information on these things. They're just ordering them from either a sales rep or that it was on sale, you know, and they're just trying to get quantity of whatever they're ordering. You know, it's like, oh, well, we just need a whiskey or bourbon or rye or a gin to replace this one because we ran out of that one and there's no more allocated to this market, you know? But there's no information. It's like, well, what's the blend? What's the build? You know? What's all of this? And they're just like, fuck if I know, just pour it in there, you know? And it's like, well, if my clientele wants to know this, what am I gonna say? Fuck if I know. Like, you don't provide, like, there's no information provided to be able to do your job, you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of had me sitting there thinking through that. So that's where the USBG came in, you know, where it's like, well, I mean, usually you would sit there and be able to like go to like these meetings or these events, and then you'll be able to meet the master blender, the distiller, the maker, the creator of this, and they'll be able to tell you these questions. I mean, these answers to questions you may have if asked. But I can tell you, boy, like, people do not ask questions at all. They just let you talk to them. And that's, I doubt that it's discouraging. Maybe in the beginning it was discouraging to like these master blenders, you know, and distillers and all, and, you know, winemakers and all of that. In the beginning, when they were like full of like life and just like, oh my goodness, can't wait to sit there and share, you know, the process, you know. But then over time, I think it just becomes like, no, let me just tell them what they want to hear. It's sad, you know? It's sad. So it's like, where do you go to find this information, you know? Because it's not readily available. So I can't say whose responsibility is it to gather this information to put out there, you know? Like, is it on the importer? Is it on the rep? Is it on the staff? Is it on the establishment? Like, is it on, like, like, what, you know? Why is it so hard? Why is it so limited? Yeah, I guess that was the whole thought behind that.
I used to sell electronics in the airport, and we sold phones, and headphones, and like noise canceling shit, and stuff like that. You know, cameras, new tech, like they had the VR glasses and shit like that. You know, stuff like that. So when I first got there, I fancied myself to be somebody who kind of knew things about technology. But at the end of the day, I wasn't no $400 headphone buying kind of guy. So I got into this world and I was like, all right, I gotta sell this shit, so let me read all of these fucking boxes so that I could tell these motherfuckers. And the place that I was working, I was very fortunate. They had a whole policy about how to do it. They were like, look, open that shit up right in front of them. Put it on their ears. Let them hear it. Tell them to plug their phone in and listen to their favorite song. Yep, that is a rule. And that taught me so much. So I realized that I could harness that with my willingness to put it in their hands and my actual knowledge about whatever questions they have. I'm not going to just sit there and spit every fact at you. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be ready for if you have a question. So I realized with those two things, I was unstoppable. I went to the top fast, quick, and everybody loved me, and I didn't have to do any double dealing to get shit done. So when I actually started selling like alcohol and shit, I kind of took all of that with me. And when I got to the point where I was at this whiskey bar where they had mad whiskey and shit, somebody asked me, yo, you know the difference between this one and that one? And it was a boss of mine. To give all these people this information, it's incumbent upon the employee to know about the product that they're dealing with. Because, yeah, you can know about this information and then get fired and go to another spot that sells completely different region of all of this shit. And then you got to learn a whole bunch of different shit. And all the shit that you knew up until that point is kind of irrelevant. So I was going to be like, well, nigga, if you want to write the encyclopedia, then you can write the encyclopedia, I guess. But it is readily available. All of it is. It's just not all in one place.
It's not readily available.
It's all readily available. You just said there's text sheets and you didn't know that.
Well, yeah, no, but it's not like for a lot of places there aren't. It's not readily available. It's really hard to sit there and find information.
No, it ain't. You got Google?
Yeah.
You got a phone?
Yeah.
Internet?
Yeah. And you can and you can sit there. I'm telling you because this is something that I've experienced. That a lot of places don't do that. They don't offer that.
Fucking walk away from me.
Sorry.
Then you would have been here when I covered that in my whole speech that I gave, which was I've gone to places where I started off with the fucking the tech shit, which is they encouraged me on a sales technique, which is put it in their hands, but they didn't necessarily encourage me to fucking read the boxes and know everything about it. But however, I took that step myself because if I'm putting it in the customer's hands and I know they're gonna try it, well, I gotta try it too, right? So that's that. And then once we get to the fucking bar shit, you go to a place, like I said, I was sitting down. This is just for you. This is not for them. So sorry, guys. But I'm sitting down and a boss of mine is like, yo, you know the difference between this one and that one? And I'm like, nah, not really. Ashamed, I don't. And he's telling me, listen, you could just read the bottles. Everything that this bottle says on it is like legally imposed. Like these words actually mean stuff because they have to. When we talk about scotches and bourbons and shit like that, yeah, when they say single malt, they actually that means something, and they can't say single malt unless. You know what I mean? Same thing with the bourbons and stuff. Even the term bourbon, they can't say bourbon unless. You know. And he went down and broke it down like that, and I wasn't knowledgeable. I knew nothing, and I was like, damn. I can't be in here standing around all ignorant and shit because I got all this stuff next to me. So I had to go home and I had to do my research, and then I had to go and buy some shit, and then I buy the shit and I taste the shit, and I'm sitting there drinking the shit, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder how other niggas feel about this shit. And then I go and look on YouTube and I want to see how he feel about it, Next thing you know, I got a collection, and now I got a collection, and I'm looking at other niggas' collections, and you know, so it's like But it's not up to everybody to be that knowledgeable, because I know other motherfuckers who come in and they just got a dynamite attitude and they fucking sell just as well. Or they can talk to people and they can go through the experience with them and be like, you know what, bro? I ain't even taste this yet. Come on, let's fuck with it. And then they open it up and they be like, smell good. And then, you know, we'll go through it with you and shit. And that works just as well. So it's not necessarily necessary to be knowledgeable about none of the shit. But if it is, and that's your twist, and that's your technique, and that's your tactic, then it is incumbent upon you and no one else to build that weapon, build that skill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get yourself sharp.
Yeah, but like I still stand behind that. Okay, so from the direct source itself, it's usually not as easy to find that information.
You don't get to a job and go to the manager and say, tell me about these products. Or you don't get to a job and go to a manager and say, okay, so now I'm here.
I'm talking about the manufacturer himself, though, because if they're not providing it, because they don't have to provide it, because a lot of these places do have like, what is that?
Manufacturers have websites.
They do, and it's still not there. I'm like, it's still not there, so it makes it really. Maybe you have to sit there and actually directly contact them, like whether it's email or call and say, hey, I was trying to get like a tech sheet, but it's not that's a whole nother step and a whole nother process, because if outside of like manufacturing,
no, but that don't even matter when it comes to selling all of this shit, though.
Well, I mean,
it really
no,
don't.
like, well, all right. So therefore, if it's not, all right, just not even about sales, but for for yourself, I guess you would say.
Yeah, but for yourself, if you chasing down a holy grail and then you end up finding out that it's partially legend and partially myth, then that's what you find. That's part of the fucking legend.
That is.
That's what you find. It's like, yo, you know how many fucking forums I went on and been like, yo, it's rumored that it got pappy juice in it. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I can't tell people though, because it's rumored. It's fucking part of the legend, G. Just take it. And then one day when you're drunk and you're sitting around, you be like, yo, it's rumored they got a little pappy juice in it.
I mean, yeah, but that's part of your journey, so you're going to sit there and see that. I mean, it's still, but it's still more, that's still something you can add to it, rather than it's just like, okay, well, shit, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's your research. That's up
anything about.
That's up to you.
So, well, yeah, because they don't.
You don't get to the job and then ask a man. Like your first day, you training. You write down everything you want. They'll let you know. You know what I mean? You can write down every dish. You can write down every piece of fucking food that they're using in every dish.
It's like, well, where's all this sourced from? Do you know if they use, like, if it's organic or if they use pesticides or anything like that? And they're like, no, we just fucking cook with it.
No, they ain't gonna tell you all of that. It's up to you. You can read the name on the box and you can figure out where the fuck it comes from.
Yeah, but then you sort. But then you go. But then that's the whole point. Like, so then it's like, all right, well, the extra step is, yeah, I'm going now. I'm down the rabbit hole, and I'm going to go learn.
Tell you where it's sourced from. Like,
and then you go.
That's amazing to me.
And then you go.
That's the standard that I walk with.
And then you go to that grower's website, and then it says nothing about, like, if it's however it was harvested.
Yeah, but you can you can go to a whole discussion on a Reddit forum about motherfuckers sitting there saying, oh, I found this out or I found that out. Or actually, this is this. Oh, and then one person with authority and a big ass light next to his name will be like, oh, I actually fucking made the shit and here's what I said. No, I didn't put it out publicly yet. You know what I mean?
It's how far you want to go down a rabbit hole. But it's not.
It's up to the person.
So I guess when I say readily available.
You talking about somebody handing you a fucking encyclopedia or something?
No. What I'm talking about is even still from the manufacturer or the producer themselves. Yeah, sitting there having it a part of like a press kit.
Yeah, fuck that. Why? Like, if I'm
because if you're sitting there mass producing and selling it, distributing it.
If I make a piece of art,
then yeah.
If I make a piece of art and I don't.
Because there's more aware, conscious consumers now.
I don't care. Listen.
I know you don't care, but that matters. Okay. Because a lot of people want to know.
But listen, okay, they can want to know all they fucking want. But guess what? If you're gonna drink it without knowing, then I'm cool with that too. All right. But listen, if I make a piece of art and I got a certain hue of purple in my art. And I don't necessarily want to tell you how I got that purple. Or maybe I just ain't readily, it's just not available for you to know how I got that purple. Can you not still just enjoy the fucking art?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you want to make it your life's mission to go and figure out that purple, if you want to cop all the paints that you can cop and do your research and figure out oil or water or what kind of canvas, and then go and try to recreate it until you could actually get that purple yourself, go do that. Spend your life's journey on that. Fuck that. That's fun.
Fuck it. It's not a matter of recreating or anything like that.
I'm just saying.
I know.
There's so many opportunities to be passionate in so many ways that you want to, but it's up to you. It ain't nobody's job gonna make you do that. Cause listen, bro, you go into a fucking restaurant and they don't give a fuck what you know or will give a fuck how you do as long as you do. You know what I mean? Like I said, people come in there and they use knowledge to sell things, while other people come in and use charm to sell things. Some people come in and they're just good fucking salespeople. They've been selling cars, they've been selling books, they've been selling all types of shit, and they're gonna sell this shit to you too. As long as you're successful at what you're doing, like there's ways to hack the system. There's people who play basketball and they don't make shots, but they got other ways of playing. They got other things that they do that make them great. You know? So it's like.
So what about the people that want? All right, okay. I guess you cover. No, because it's not about me.
The people who
At first it was, but
so the people who want
it's not. The people that want to know, it's still just like no, because
look for it.
Well, you try to look for it.
You get on a Zoom call with the motherfucking manufacturer, like I've seen people do,
and just go that hard. Yeah, I guess that's what it comes down to then.
I seen you do that.
No.
I have.
Well, I mean.
So, if you gotta go that hard, then you just gotta.
Every time.
I gave you
every fucking time.
Upstairs, I gave you a lot of credit and was like, listen, man, when I got into this shit, I knew what I knew, but my nigga put me onto this, my nigga put me onto that, my nigga had a whole library about this, whole library about that, because my nigga just really wanted to know about everything he was doing. So when I walked into it, I had this person that I was exposed to, this type of individual that I was exposed to, and I had my nigga over here that I was exposed to. I have a choice myself on who I'm going to be in this whole situation, how I want to lean on it. And I lean somewhere in between, which is you love me because you love me because I love you. But you also love me because I can help you and I can teach you some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's different ways of approaching it.
So yeah,
ways to get the job.
It always still does come down to the individual. It always does come down to the individual. Yes. But the individuals that want to be educated or knowledgeable, well, both,
they might want to be educated and knowledgeable in the experience more so than the product.
It could be that. It could be that. But
just more so good at like making sure that you have everything you need and reading your body language and knowing you're satisfied more so than where this shit came from.
Yeah, I mean, but then it's just like, well, what are you like what are you putting in this to make this? I think we all have a right to know what we're consuming.
Yeah, we don't all care.
Yeah, I mean, but for the people, for the sake of the people that do care.
Yeah, but the people who do care is the minority.
Yeah.
So the minority has to figure out a way to satisfy what they want because guess what? They're not being catered to because they're the minority. So that's it. Like the manufacturers figured out that they can sell shit without telling you what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So why should they go out of their way to tell you what it is? It's actually they'll sell even more.
It's like is it out of you. It's like is it It's out of the way. Well, yeah.
Every fucking speck on the bottle, that would be worse.
No,
if they just printed a fucking logo,
not on the bottle.
Little beautiful. No,
not on the bottle. But
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what you're suggesting, but I'm saying if they printed all the specs on the bottle, then that would actually be worse than the logo, and it's just white label. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like everybody doesn't.
Because nobody wants to read, but that's a whole different thing. That's a whole nother different thing.
Yeah, but that don't make it wrong.
I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm not saying that it's right to do it. But it's just like, all right, well, for people who do want to know, for the people who want to know whether they're consumers, for the consumer, no, because there's a lot of aficionados out there as well as connoisseurs. I guess they go hand in hand.
Aficionados in that level.
And it's just like, wait, whoa, all right, well, how was this harvested? Like, where did they get this from? Like, it's a lot of details that's being missed, and that there's pretty much no way to figure out besides sitting there trying to contact the 1-800 number and sitting there saying, hey,
gotta be the 1-800.
I got.
You can go through your rep. You can go through a couple of different sources.
Yes, for people in the industry, yes, you can go through your rep if you know your rep. If you don't know your rep, you can try the Google. You can try to Google that or whatever search engine you want to use.
Or if you know,
but it's still,
bartenders, you can probably ask them if they know the rep.
So you can sit there and still try to figure. Either way, you can sit there and try to figure out a way.
I can go.
But that's
I can
but
go to bars and be like, yo, where y'all get y'all tequila from?
But it's still just come. They're like the state store, but it's still like as. The manufacturing part is just like, all right, so maybe that's a luxury then. Maybe that's a luxury, and that's why the laws from the TTB are just like, and here in America, well, everywhere, it's just like, well, TTB in America. Other places have their own thing, where it's just like, it's not a missed opportunity, but if you're going to be strict, because the whole purpose of it being governed is that it's like, well, this is something that it's that people are consuming, so we want to make sure that it's not harmful to people. And they're just like, oh, it's not harmful. It's not harmful. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what we're putting in this at all. You know, don't worry. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And they're just like, oh, okay, all right. You know, rather than just presenting the information, just like, all right, so blah, 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 this, that, you know, like we use, like, so this is going to be 3% barley, 59%, you know, corn.
No, you know what I think it is? Tell me if I'm wrong here.
For a mash bill.
Yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong here, just because we're talking about that now, since you switched it to that, I can relate. Fucking.
So, yeah, that's the point.
The law is only going to ask you to go so much into detail.
Yeah.
The law only needs you to discern, like, if all I put in this bitch is some water and some barley, and then let it age for a number of years, and then maybe I added a foreign yeast strain, if that's all I'm doing, that's all they need to know, then now I can say whatever I needed to say, aged for a number of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can speak just that.
Yeah.
All the rest of the shit, once I, like, if I decided to take
But to even have that available, which they don't.
What do you mean?
Because they don't have that on there, just like, well, we did it for this, that. So you're just using just like, okay, age 2 years. It could have been charred, you know, we toasted at whatever, you know, it's a 5-level char and all that kind of, you know, for the barrel that we use.
Extra shit.
You know,
that's
like
necessary. That's not necessary.
That is not necessary.
I'm talking about just the fact is, you know what's in it. You know that it's barley is the base. You know that it was aged for this number of years. You know the water came from this source.
There are chemicals that's in there as well, preservatives. So therefore, it's just like these are the things.
All they have to do legally is that's what we talking about the law now. All they have to do legally is say, there's this and it's been done for this long. With these types of barrels, you know what I'm saying? And as long as you can say, all right, that's that, then that's that. The whole blending process that you do after that fact, that's cool, that's legal, that's fine, because you said that this is that, as long as that is that. That's really what it comes down to. Those words, like I said, they have legal terms, and they're willing to give you so many details, but they're not going to give you every single detail. That's that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like, all right, so when you pick up like fucking anything and it says ingredients, it doesn't have to sit there and have the percentages of the blend. Let me see, I don't know. I don't have anything with a label on it right now that we're consuming.
These ingredients, it says this product contains these ingredients.
Doesn't have it.
And
fucking on it right now either.
From highest amount to lowest amount.
Yeah. Ingredients: potatoes, vegetable oil. Didn't say brands or whatever. You know, which vegetable oil. It just says one or more of the following. Then it says
there's a legal
corn.
Specification that's necessary to call yourself vegetable oil.
Yeah. You know, all of that kind of stuff. But then it does go into like citric acid, sunflower oil, modified cornstarch, and all this old jazz. You know, like
that's not jazz though. Those are real things.
Yeah, these are. But
we all agreed on what those terms mean.
But at the same time, like, all right, so some of this stuff could or does go into the things that you imbibe.
Okay.
So if if it's required because it's something you consume.
Okay.
Within American law, it should be the same standard. You know, it should be the same energy because you're still consuming it. What is that? Is that the FDA? This is the FDA, right?
Yeah.
FDA.
Food and Drug Administration.
So it should still be the same thing because when I look at any of these bottles, they don't say sit there and citric acid or malolactic acid. You know, they don't sit there and go through any of that. You know, like and these things can be harmful to people.
Okay, so do they put mononucleic acid and citric acid and all that stuff in my whiskey?
They should. They should, but they don't.
They don't put that stuff in the whiskey.
They do. I mean, it's there. They do.
Put that stuff in the whiskey?
Yeah, because it happens.
Okay.
Because when it sits in the barrel, like it's all these things, you know. Like, and they probably won't put it on there until it's marketable, like gluten-free, quote unquote, you know, and all of the other stuff that's, you know, organic or whatever is marketable right now. They would sit there and add that on in a heartbeat. But it's all happening, you know. But it's just like, well, shit, I don't have to sit there and tell you guys anything because, you know, like
It's not required by law.
The bare minimum is required.
Yeah.
Is this, you know, we passed that test, so that's all that matters, you know.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of people have secret recipes and oral traditions and practices and shit like that. So I can see why they would not want to share.
See, and even like even with so I just went somewhere else when you said old world practices. Yeah, but all like that stuff, like, is it sanitary? Like,
probably not. We drink out of a fucking barrel that's been reused and then shipped and reused. Maybe not.
So I mean, but then so it's just like, well, what's
the whole? It is sanitary, isn't it? Because alcohol, right?
Yeah. I mean, when the chemicals that you add, like to preserve everything as well.
Listen, they said, where the color come from? I said the barrel. They was like,
sometimes. Other times
it's color. There's caramel color.
Yeah.
But that's not, and you can't do that you can't do that in necessarily everything. You're allowed to do it in scotch and shit, but you can't do that in necessarily.
I mean, but see, when we're talking international, those are different laws and they're different regulations as well.
Scotch, but you can't do that shit in bourbon. You can do it in whiskey. You can do it in whiskey.
Yeah, but that shit's not fucking on.
You can do it in rye.
It's not on the label. It's not on the label.
Yeah, but that's why I said.
Sometimes it is where it says.
These legal terms have like meanings.
Yeah, so therefore it's a fucking tech sheet. It's the information.
But if you're calling it whiskey and we're all drinking whiskey, then we all know what the fuck whiskey is. Right?
That's not true. But yeah, I understand where you're going.
I imagine it is. And then on top of that, you know why the Food and Drug Administration doesn't handle whiskey? Because the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms
goes to a whole different agency.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms people handle that. So it's a little bit different, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't know nothing about laws, but they're not regulated by the same fucking people.
It's a different agency. Which is only like a very few. It's not a big agency. It's not a lot of employees within the TTB. Or is that the ATF? But that's a whole nother issue as well.
You think that's an issue? You just want to know what you're consuming. That's what it comes down to. That's what we talking about here.
Yeah.
You just feel health concerns and shit.
I mean,
it's liquor, bro. Like, it's wine, it's liquor, it's grapes, it's barley, it's water. What kind of water? I don't have to tell you. What kind of grapes? I don't have to tell you. What kind of liquor? I mean, what kind of barley?
Some places you do have to tell.
Barley from?
Some places you do have to.
Yeah, we'll move there.
Some places you do have to.
But
you know?
That's the point I'm trying to make, though. It's like, if you really want to know, I'm pretty sure you can figure it out, but it ain't up to them to tell.
Nobody's going to sit there and tell you how much potassium. Well, if you go there and you're actually talking to the winemaker.
Maybe they will.
Yeah, maybe they will, depending on who you are.
Maybe they will.
To the average consumer, no.
You ever looked it up? You ever tried to figure it out?
Yeah.
It might be on a forum somewhere.
Yeah, I haven't gone to the farm route at all. but I definitely did go and try to contact a lot of people. And but to sit there and go through all of that, you know, that's a whole nother level. And it should just be there, is what I think. Just tell me what the fuck you put in here, what chemicals to preserve it, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, because like a lot of people don't know that in order to keep things good, you have to actually throw in sulfur. So everything has sulfites in it. You also have to have or CO2, carbon dioxide, to sit there and preserve it. Everything outside of oxygen, pretty much. That shit's not on a label, you know?
Mm-hmm. But it's to be assumed that if you're making that product, that that's part of the process of creating the product. So it's like a legal specification within the name of the product.
It's not.
Yeah, it is. If you fucking,
you don't have to. You don't have to.
If you sell a nigga wine,
you don't have to.
If they say wine on the bottle, then sulfur is in there. The N stand for sulfur.
The N doesn't stand for sulfur.
Yeah, dude.
What N?
The W-I-N-E. The N stands for sulfur.
Word.
No, I'm just saying.
Look, you're about to blow my mind. I was gonna say, see, yo, man, yo.
No.
I was gonna go around and be like, yo, just let you know in wine, the N stands for sulfur.
No, I was just saying everybody who drinks wine knows that it has sulfites in it.
They even look at me like, nah. Like Na sodium? All right, no, go ahead.
Like, listen, you buy wine. It doesn't say it's made of grapes. It doesn't have to. You buy wine.
No, it does.
It doesn't?
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to.
It just says blends sometimes
you buy wine.
in Pennsylvania. I mean, well,
wine.
in USA.
It doesn't say it's made of grapes. And you drink that shit, but you allergic to grapes. You ain't know it was fucking grape wine. You just try to get some wine. So now what? Now everybody need to say, oh, there's grapes in this joint, right?
Yeah, because you're going to get fucking sued, yo.
There's grapes in this joint.
Like, yo, you got to sit there and tell people what the fuck is in here.
This
You
is
got to
made
fuck.
from grapes.
Like, sit there and, like, because it matters because of the chemicals that you do. All right, I'm going on this whole fucking, all right.
I'm aware. So if you have a whiskey that's fucking finished in a Pinot Noir barrel, you need to say there's grapes in there?
No, but you just fucking sit there and say whatever it is, chemicals to preserve the make sure oxygen doesn't get in it, and make sure there's no microbiological bacteria that's in there. Like you need, like you should sit there and tell people, hey,
Dude, I don't do that to the water.
1% of this, and that's something else too, man. They should.
I don't know if they
It just says water.
No,
100. It says 99%, 99.9% water, 1% whatever preservative.
It'll say vitamins and minerals or something. Let me see. This is spring water, natural, protected springs.
So do you not think it's okay? I mean, well, do you think it's okay to sit there and just, I guess, the whole mystery behind it?
No, it doesn't say it. Sometimes they say minerals.
It doesn't say it. It doesn't say it. What does it say? What does it say?
Water.
It just says 100% water?
It says source, and then it tells you where. Fucking Mollystown, Whitehaven, Black Creek.
Is that an appellation for it or something? Is that something that you should just know, like, or if it comes from this appellation?
Which springs? They're saying Protected Springs in Whitehaven, PA, Mollystown, PA, Tower City, PA, Black Creek, PA, West Pennsylvania, PA, Pine Grove, PA, New Ringgold, Williams Township.
Is that a blend? Is this a water blend of natural spring water?
By Niagara Bottling.
Or is that all in just like, is that like?
Look, how about this? For water quality and information, contact us at 877. It's pure.
So they probably have a tech sheet.
Yeah,
so if I Google, they probably have a tech sheet.
That's what I'm saying. And they also have a number to call.
I have no problem with them.
They have a number to call.
I have no problem with them.
All right.
I have the problem with the people who don't go that mile to sit there and do that or offer that.
I think everybody who doesn't offer you any information based on like what's available in the world.
I can't even think of it right now.
Who's hiding everything?
I can't think of it. I can't think of a brand right now.
If they are, they might have a super secret expression, and they might have other shit that they offer that they're willing to tell you everything about, but then they might have another expression that they're like, look, check this out. You just gotta trust us on this one. Because I've seen that.
Do I gotta sit there? Should I?
Mystery blends and shit.
Yeah, no, because then that lets you know, like, it's a mystery blend. They already gave it up right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something totally different.
Which is a mystery.
That's something totally different. Let's see. If I fucking go look up. Right now I'm grabbing my laptop so I can sit there and try to...
When you want to take a piss though.
Ooh, all right, something even popular. All right, so Hennessy Black. So yeah, I'm getting this from Jeff. So this
Black is a blend of 35 and 45 different eau de vie aged in French oak barrels previously used for cognac for at least 5 years.
Now, when he says this right here, right?
Eau de vie.
Eau de vie.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, this still isn't coming from...
That's the water of life. So
this
shit.
This isn't
That's the original shit.
This isn't... No. Right. This isn't coming from the distiller, the blender, anything like that. This is coming from someone who reviews things, right?
Drinkspirits.com.
Jeff. This is coming from Jeff, who probably contacted them. You know, who knows? Or maybe he came across stories as well. But this is him summarizing it. You know, the Hennessy Black. So, I mean, but then you use eau de vie. Eau de vie is what they don't know, like how to, what to call something that's international. Because they can't put it in any of the categories such as whiskey, gin,
that's what
vodka, rum, or anything like that.
The way I heard it described to me is, well, this is like the first juice that we use to make every product, pretty much, and we can't really it's almost a grist, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean but it's a blend of 35 different eau de vies. It's a bunch of different shit that nobody wanted, that they all discarded, that's why it's 35 to 45 different ones that's aged in French oak barrels. Now it's kind of like, all right, well, I mean,
no, they was previously used
which kind of
cognac for at least 5 years.
Which kind of oak barrels? Because there's like so many, definitely with French,
man. That's all they got.
I mean, you know, yeah, but there's like forest French. There's so many different details that's, you know.
They got French oak. That's it. They got French oak.
Ah, look at this. The nose is like with a hint of what.
I ain't asking for tasting notes. I understand that.
So I mean, so the information isn't. So now we got to sit there and go through.
Yes, it's life, nigga.
But then like, all right, man. So it's just.
He probably contacted them, right?
He probably contacted them. If it, you know, knowing Jeff. All right, so this is what Wikipedia has to say about eau de vie. Yes, literally, water of life is a clear, colorless fruit brandy that is produced by means of fermentation and double distillation. The fruit flavor is typically very light.
You don't even believe that?
No, because I know. I know because they call whiskey, you know? Eau de vie.
You don't believe that, and I don't believe that, because that's too specific. It's more general than that, but that kind of explains the idea that I was talking about.
Also, like, because it's also, you know, like this is also
it's
this.
Yes,
yeah, but it gets its color from
everything else,
the barrel.
The rest of the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the base.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck these guys. Fuck all of this. Like, where's the facts? You know? Like, well, what is that blend of 35? You know?
When you was on that call with that lady, she was like, they was like, so what's in that one? And she was like, it's kind of a secret, but I can tell you. Like I said, she gave you one little fact that she could tell you, which is we got some of that fly shit in here too.
We got a whole bunch of bullshit, and we got a little bit of that fly shit.
And that's why it costs the way it does. But it's not better than
Yeah, but she didn't
this
give you
one.
fucking percentages.
Yeah, no. But she wasn't the manufacturer. She was the face. The what is it? Layer.
Yeah, I understand. But the bottle isn't the manufacturer either. Though.
No, but the fucking but they're all right. So it's the all right.
manufacturer.
So now when it
You
comes,
expect it to be on niggas' websites?
yeah, because it's usually it. Fuck that. Yeah, like fuck that. Now I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place right now.
Shit on your phone?
I'm all over the place, huh?
You couldn't do that shit on your phone?
No. Yeah, but I didn't. Matter of fact, because I actually took a photo of a tech sheet. Not even for this, but just because it was miscommunication and something that I've learned. All right, so right here, right? But this is a wine, so it's a different genre, different area, I guess you would say. It tells you the winemaking techniques, which still is translated into American differently, because they don't, whatever. But they tell you the whole process and all that kind of jazz, you know?
Yeah.
They tell you about where they're sourcing their stuff from, you know, and how it was harvested, you know? Like some gins actually sit there and tell you where they get their juniper berries from, where they get their shit from, you know?
Everybody don't give a fuck though.
Everybody don't give a fuck, so it's just like, well, fuck them too then. Yeah, like,
Fuck everybody that don't give a fuck.
yeah, fuck everybody don't give a fuck then.
Hey man, I don't give a fuck. How about that?
Well, fuck you too then. How about that? How about that?
Because guess what? Me personally, from my perspective,
If it's good, it's good.
no, I'm not gonna say that because that's the thing too. But I'm gonna say I'm not making the shit, so I don't give a fuck what you had to go through and at what temperatures and shit. All
But for
that
your
shit is cool.
insides,
All
like,
that's cool. That's what's up. What I want is the story that I can easily communicate with people so that they can see the quality.
well, you're not.
Quality.
So the
rarity,
education, you're not.
and the
That's not something
exclusivity.
that you care about. You don't care about acquiring that information.
I do,
as
but I have a reason
to be
acquire it.
knowledge,able and
The
educated
reason I'm
on
acquiring it
to
is
make
so that I
a-
can communicate
a great decision.
so that I can communicate it. Like I said before you interrupted me, if I'm going to take what information I take, it's so that I can communicate either the quality, the rarity, or the exclusivity to the person that I'm trying to give it to.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I want to do it for. I don't want to sit there and fucking wax knowledgeably about some shit.
Yeah. No, but it's still.
To be able to tell you why you should have it.
Now
As opposed to this other-
can we not sit there and say, like, just like a couple episodes ago, the more knowledgeable you are about a product, the more confidence that you will have on selling it. I mean, no, that's what you said. You just said that.
I said I like to have knowledge about the shit that I'm standing next to.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not talking about that conversation per
Well, check
se.
it out.
But
Okay,
you
well,
just
look,
sat there
if
and
I'm-
when
if
we're
I'm
talking
contradicting
about.
myself- if I'm contradicting myself from previously, then that's fine because people change and the river is always flowing. But if I've met people who know a lot of shit about a lot of shit, but that don't make them necessarily the best person to share it with you or sell it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you're knowledgeable doesn't mean you're confident.
Yeah.
I understand. But if I am talking about a product, then yes, to have more knowledge probably does help. But no, I don't care about unnecessary details. I know which details I'm trying to snag shit for. Just like when I'm reading a book, I'm not trying to memorize every detail that I'm reading out of the book. I'm just looking for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that I communicate better than other people. So I'm playing my strengths. You play yours. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily need to know what
But to
temperature
even- but
and
to
what
even
size and what
have
shape
that.
still they used. I don't need to know that.
But to even like
You
even
do.
to have that as
But
you're
you
te-
said
as you're
fuck people who don't care,
as
and that's
you're
what I'm
telling
responding
as
to.
you're telling that
You said,
story.
fuck people who don't care about
Well,
that stuff.
because apparently you do care. Like no.
I don't. I
But
don't care
apparently
about what
you
shape
do.
and size the still was.
No, but you still needed or wanted information so you can move said product, right? And you do that with the information that's provided, being detailed information, just like, yo, this is why this is fly, you know, and this is why you should have it. If they don't give you that, then it's like, well, fuck that,
All
you
I can
know?
do is say it tastes good.
Yeah, but that's not what you want.
Right.
You don't want to sit there and just be like, yo,
No information.
hun, just take. So we're saying the same thing.
We're not. You're saying that the information isn't readily available, and I'm saying that it is. You're saying that the manufacturer's responsibility is to provide such detailed information, and I'm saying that the details...
Or that it should be.
And you're saying that the
it
details
should be.
I'm saying that the details that you just showed me on your phone are above and beyond and unnecessary. Mm-hmm. I know the details that I'm looking for, and most of those details are readily available for the shit that I'm trying to get.
No, because majority of them are tasting notes. Which you already said you don't give a fuck, because I'm not sitting there looking for that.
Tasting notes.
So it's like, all right, you want this because it's 3 times the
quality,
it's triple distilled, rarity, and all that kind of jazz.
Quality, rarity, and exclusivity. You want this because there's only this many bottles made, and there's only 4 in the state, and this is your only opportunity to taste this because it's gonna be gone next week. And we can't get another one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or this motherfucker has been made by this guy who used to make this shit, which they don't make no more, and this is his second signature John since that shit. So most people don't know, but this is going to be historically fucking crazy. So you should taste it. You remember that shit?
That's part of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
That is part of the story, but there's also information in there.
Yeah.
Which is, the master distiller and who he is or whatever. But then there's also the quality aspect, which is, they use this for that. And the shit that they usually use for that shit, there's crazy prices on that shit. But this right here, they like,
Okay, so the level of information.
The level and how you use
the level of information that and how you use it is valuable.
Definitely.
I'm not arguing against that because that works.
You saying that it's up to the manufacturer or whatever to give you a lot of information or whatever information.
I mean,
what I was disputing was what you just showed me on the phone. That is above and beyond an unnecessary amount of information. The amount of information that I need.
That's valuable information. That's fucking like
make this shit again.
No, because you can't.
Cool.
No, because
I'm just trying to give it to somebody.
No, because in that information they still didn't give, like, within that they still didn't even give the amount of sulfites they use. They didn't tell you about any of the chemicals they use or anything like that. They just said, oh snap, first free run, which was a whole big issue, that a whole nother thing that turned into a thing. Now see, all right, so within this, so I pulled up a conversation. That shit's not recording anymore.
It's red.
That shit's zero. All right, cool. Anyway, so this was Chenin Blanc free run, which is South African, right? So this is a white grape varietal from South Africa. So they put free run on there. So it's stumped. So I just had questions. So I presented it to another winemaker, and he was stumped because he was like, this doesn't make any sense because there's no such thing as free run when it comes down to making white wine, because as soon as you get it, oxidation, they start turning brown, so you just want to press it, to get the juice before it starts turning bad. So I'm like, I get you, but I can understand where they're using free run as well, because they're just like, maybe if you crush it, then the juice just naturally just flows out. Maybe they have so much of something that the pressure of that naturally runs it. No, there is. Now, because legally, that's what I just said. It's just like it's naturally just flowing out of the juice. You're not sitting there pressing it, so you don't get any of the bitterness from like the seeds or anything like that, or the skins. Like it's just the premium stuff, and that's what that lady was talking about on that call when she sat there and was just like, well, we put a little bit of that in this, and that's why the price is so high.
I got you.
So
that's amazing.
But that was with red grapes. That was the rosé.
Grape sweat.
So that was with a red grape. So there's no thing, because you have to press white grapes in order to get that, and they're just like, well, this doesn't make sense, So therefore it just goes all the way into like a whole bunch of winemakers being stumped by this.
And
then it came down to like, leave it up to Bryant to sit there and stump winemakers.
Okay, well, here's the thing, right? That legal term might only apply to reds.
Now.
And you can use it legally with whites however you want. Right?
Now, the whole thing that came down to was translation.
Okay.
From language. Because their free run is actually a press run. Well, not a press run, it's the first press. Which you you're pressing it, you know,
Yeah,
to get the juice out.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
still a
still
press. It's not free run. So our free run to them is not it's not a thing. It's no such thing as
So they don't give a fuck about the free run.
it's not a free. Yeah. So there's like, wait, what you guys call a free run is that's actually not a
So
thing.
that's the thing. It is a legal term, but it's just not a legal term wherever the fuck they at.
Yeah.
Free run.
But that's a whole nother country
Right.
as well, you know?
Yeah, now nigga, that's the thing. I think that this wine world is just a little less organized than obviously, because
All of it's less organized.
no, because
Distilled spirits is less organized. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, because me personally, like, all right, whatever.
Because I studied both of them. But yeah, chemical. Yeah, all right, go.
Because no, I'm giving it to you. I was like, all right, because you're talking about chemicals and shit. But when it comes down to whiskey and beer or whatever, to me, it's like niggas tell me what I need to know. When it comes to whiskey and beer, niggas tell me what I need to know, bro. I have no fucking lack of information about the whiskey and the beer that I'm consuming.
When you're talking, like, I sit there and I speak to distillers, master distillers, master blenders. You know, like I'm the one that sit there and with the question. So therefore, we have the conversations on the side
Okay.
within all of these like seminars and all that kind of stuff.
Conversations on the side. That's cool. Go ahead.
And that's where I would get the information from them directly.
Right.
But I can't go to their site and get any of the information because there's no tech sheets, because there's no such thing as tech sheets per se.